Hey guys, welcome. This training is going to be, remember our goal is to try and keep these trainings 15 minutes or less, so I'm going to try and keep it as fast as I can. This is a session I did early in the year, and I usually do it early in the year at one of our coffee chats or our lunch and learns. It's basically kind of just our model of business planning. So, every real estate company and kind of teaches some type of version of this. And so I'm going to go through it real fast. And this is a good way to just break it down. I'm a firm believer, the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And so what we're going to do is essentially, most of you, if you've been to business school at all or taken anything, it's all about reverse engineering. And what do I mean by that? It means that I'm going to start with the end in mind, and I'm going to work backwards and say, okay, if that's my end goal, then how am I going to work myself to do it? Now I'm going to choose a number that's 100,000 a year, I think is what this PowerPoint has. But you just can adjust these things, and obviously you have to adjust it to your own self, but it's a really cool process. So the nice thing about this is once the formula is in place, then you can kind of break it down, all right? So this is our business planning. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, so what's the process? Okay, remember that it's that simple. That's been our mantra for a while around here at Future Home Realty. We're not going to overcomplicate things. It really is that simple, so that's our goals. We're going to focus on how simple this is. We're going to begin with the end in mind, like I said. Let's say we want a net $100,000 a year in the real estate business. That's net after expenses. If you did go to business school, they would call that EBITDA, which is earning before income tax, depreciation, and amortization, meaning that's before you pay your taxes on it. But this is your net income after you've paid your broker, paid your advertising, paid for your signs, your lock boxes, your gas, all these kind of things. It would be basically your P&L at the end of the year, so which stands for profit and loss. I don't want to oversimplify things. So understand your expenses. Now I'm just going to use a rough figure here of 20%. Now the cool thing is that later on, after you do this for a couple of years and you begin to track it, you actually set up a budget and you begin to track these things, you're going to have actually more consistent and legitimate true numbers at the beginning of the year when you're doing your business planning. Initially, you have to start somewhere, so you can do this. And now we'll do it and we'll track it and we'll say, hey, my expenses are coming in only 17% of my gross as opposed to coming into at 20%, so I'm better off. Or, hey, I got to adjust this because my budget's now showing me that my expenses are 25% or so on. But let's just start with something in mind. Let's just say that expenses are there. But my critical point here is you got to make sure you track that stuff, okay? Because you don't know what your expenses are and what percentage of your income it is unless you actually track this stuff. So this is what you're treating your business like a business. You're actually going to do it. And by the way, this is how they do it at Fortune 500 companies, guys. It's the same process. More expenses, more income. I get it, but the formula is pretty much the same. All right. Okay. So what you want to do is just basically, if you divide your net, your desired net, by your expense percentage, all right, and subtract it from 100%. For instance, I'm going to divide my 100K by 0.8, which is. This is the hardest part for me to explain. Basically, it's the reciprocal or the inverse of 20%. So 80% is that. So if I divide my desired net, and let's say your desired net is 50,000 and your expenses is 10, then you would have 50 here and 90 in here. You get that because you're going to subtract your expense percentage from 100%, and that's what you're going to divide by. When you do that, check my math. You can hit the pause button at any time. Check my math. That comes at the 125K. What does that mean? It means that we need to gross 125,000 in income if we're going to net 100,000 with a 20% expense ratio. So, okay, so that's the amount you need to gross. That's what I just said. Let's get to the gross. Now that's great. So now we need to gross 125. How are we going to do that? Now we need to start breaking it down. So remember, our goal is 125,000. We're going to take that goal and we're going to figure out what our average gross commission is. Let's say that your average gross commission is 4K. Now, I don't know if that's legitimate for you or not. If you, hey, you know what, I sell $400,000 homes all day long and I average 2.5% commission, so yours would be 10,000 there, which would be a lot easier to get to 225K. But you got to know your numbers. And again, if you don't know your numbers, start somewhere. All right. Again, I'm just putting numbers in here. This was probably a pretty legitimate situation for me personally when I was selling. I did a lot of deals, but did smaller deals. So 4K was there. This is like 133,000 average sale price at 3%. or it would be more like, I guess, let's see, 260, 320, and then roughly 160,000 at 2.5%, somewhere in that range, 160,000 average sale price if you're only averaging 2.5% commission. So whatever it is, that's the number. Let's say it's 4K. All right. How many transactions do you need? Well, we take our 125,000 that we're desiring divided by the 4,000, and we need basically 31 transactions a year. That's going to lead me, because 31 transactions at 4K is going to give me my 125. Divide this number by 12 because that's annualized, so we're going to break it down into a monthly goal. So we take 31.25 divided by 12, we get 2.604. We say we're going to overachieve and do 3. So our goal is we're going to break it down. Now we took 125,000 and we know our average commission is 4K. Now we're going to get it down to that. That basically means we need to do about 3 a month, right? Okay. So now let's think about how do we get those 3 deals a month? Well, what we call lead generating events. If you've been to other things, go check out our class on effective open houses, where we call those lead generating events, places that you're going to meet brand new people from that you don't know today. All right, that we're going to go sit places that, whether it be at the flea market like some of our agents do, open houses, bank-owned open houses, sponsoring a booth at the local Easter fair for your community, whatever it is. Okay, you're going to try and generate new business, and let's say right now you're going to rely on 67% or two-thirds of your business coming from that. If you've been in the business a while and you already know that 80% of your business comes from past clients and people you know, then this may only be 20%, and we're going to get to the next part later. So whatever it is, the numbers are the numbers, all right? I'm just showing you a model of how to put it in, all right? Introductions from others, that's a referral basically through a systematic designed approach. I kind of add that in there because that's not just going to happen, all right? You got to have a reason or got to have a method to make that happen. But let's say that you're planning on 1/3 of your business coming from people that refer you or introduce you to other people or themselves, their aunt, their uncle, their friend, their sister, their whoever, all right, friend at work, coworker, whatever it is, okay? Every month, that means remember my goal is to have 3 transactions, so I need 2 transactions, 2 from lead generating events, because 2/3 are going to come from this, right? And then I need to then be introduced or referred to 1 new transaction, because that's the 1/3 of our 3. Remember, our overall goal is 3. Oh, okay. Let me go back. Something happened there. How do I need? Sorry about that. Every month I need to be introduced to 1 new transaction for someone that I've earned the right to be introduced. And we have that whole conversation. And then if we don't have it up yet, we'll have a class up soon on, or basically our whole 100K is based upon learning ways to earn the right to be introduced to people. So the math makes sense, right? Our goal is 3. 2/3 or 2 of them need to come from lead generating events. 1/3 or 1 needs to be an introduction. Again, your numbers may differ. Okay, so let's do the work. Every time I do a traffic generating event, or let's say a bank-owned open house, I need half a qualified buyer. Well, what does that mean? That means that every time I do 2 open houses, all right, I end up walking away. Sorry, my phone's ringing. I end up walking away with 1 qualified lead. So, all right, that makes sense. All right, and yours might be different. Every time you sit 1, you might get 1. Who knows? All right, that'd be great. I hope that's the way it is for you. But let's just say it is right now. It's every time you do 2, you get 1 qualified lead. Well, I need 2 transactions from these type of events each month. So does it make sense that if I do 4 and I meet a half a buyer each one, half of 4 is 2. So that basically means I needed to do 4 good lead generating events. That's what LGE stands for per month, right? Every time I personally speak to 15 people that I know, like, and trust me, all right, when I say personally speak, it's not send them an email. We teach getting eyeball to eyeball with people, getting in front of people and talking to them and actually listening to them, not telling them, hey, you need to refer me, but hey, look, what can I do for you so that you can therefore reciprocate that. When I take good care of you, you'll take good care of me. That's the way it works. So, but let's say your stats say that every time I talk to 15 people I know, all right, I get 1 qualified introduction. So that every month I need 1. So in essence, I need 1 transactions from introduction. So I need to reach out and talk to on the phone or grab a cup of coffee, take them to lunch, whatever it may be, 15 people per month. Well, that basically gets my 3 transactions per month, because 3 transactions, all right, leads to 36 sales, which is going to gross 144K, all right, which when I subtract out my 20% is going to be 115.2. All right, let me go back again. Somehow this is catching that. So sorry about that, from current slide. All right, we're back to where we were. Okay, so it's really that simple. I know it's been fast. It's only been 10 minutes so far. I'll kind of clean things up in the next 2 minutes. But all right, so I'm going to gross 144. You're telling me, Bob, that I can do 4 open houses a month and talk to 15 people. Just go have coffee and lunch and grab a iced tea with some friends, and I'll be able to do $144,000 in business, which is going to net me 115.2. Oh, quick word aside. You guys are all future home agents, more than likely, if you're watching this. Your 20% does include your broker split. Now, with future home, if you're going to do 36 deals, you would have capped with us. So part of that 20% in expenses would have been the $4,000 that you would have capped with us. Now, if you're at a company that takes 30% of your deals, all right, your expenses are going to be more than 20%. I can guarantee that already. All right. So if you happen to be a non-future home agent, you need to come talk to us and see how we can lower those expenses for you. But anyway, so it's really that simple. So, okay, just to recap, here's what we're going to do. We wanted to net 100,000. So we broke it down and said, okay, if I need to net 100,000, I need to gross 125 based upon my expense ratio. I also know that my average commission was 4K. So 4K or 125 divided by the 4K told us we needed like 31.25 transactions. We decided when we divided that by 12, it was like 2.6 something. So we said, let's overachieve and do 3. All right. We know that that 2/3 of our business comes from lead generating events, open houses and such. So I know I need 2 a month from that. And I also need 1 introduction or referral to bring me up to the other one that's going to make up my 3. Then I broke it down and said, okay, every time I do a bank owned open house or some type of good traffic generating event that generates traffic, all right, then I need a half a buyer. So that means I need to do 4. Now, again, it might take 3 for you to meet a qualified buyer. If that's the case and you want to, then you're going to have to do 6 good lead generating events a month to get your 2 buyers that you're going to work with. By the way, notice I'm working all with buyers here. Okay, we can have a whole discussion about listings later, but check out some of our 100K videos, because we tell us that these bank-owned open houses lead us to our buyers. Then after that, I go out and I have lunch and breakfast and dinner and whatever, and coffee and iced teas with 15 people, pick up the phone, check on, see how their daughter's ballet school's going, whatever it is. It's not asking about referrals. All right, make sure you pay attention to that. It's just catching up with them and seeing what's going on. They will introduce you to business. The facts are that these 15 people know 5 people this year, each of them. No, that's 75 people that need real estate services. You want to be top of mind so that you're ready to go. All right. But it's not because you're hounding them and asking for the business. You're just being a good person, helping them, and they will help you back. All right. So all that being said, that's going to lead us to our 3 deals. Our 3 deals, all right, are going to lead us to 36 a year. And if an average of 4K a deal is going to give us 144 gross, take out all the expenses, you end up with 115.2 net. It's that simple. Don't try and confuse it anymore. It's just breaking it down. Put your numbers in, start somewhere, track it after 3 months and see where you're going, and see if your expenses are in the ratio that you decided it was going to be. If not, adjust your budget and adjust your plan. It's that simple, guys. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.